The floor is yours. Begin when you're ready.
Thank you. As you mentioned, I have my assistant principal with me, Carolyn Stewart, who works with us at Scott for several years and does a great job for us. Thank you guys for allowing us to come out and talk to you today. We do appreciate your support. We know there's a lot of great things you guys do with and for us. And as I learn more and continue to be in the system, I'm still amazed at the quality of our board and the way you guys really interact and work with our central office, who also does an amazing job as well. We are overjoyed and very proud to be in our third year of proficiency. I'll have several teachers that will say to you they're tired of proficient rewards. They want distinguished, and we missed it by just a little, so we're excited about that, but we are still proud of our growth. We have, last year, we've talked about several years that we have concentrated a lot on the CCR culture, trying to make every kid believe and reach the level that they can be in college. And again, last year we had the highest CCR rate in our school history, 72%. We're very proud of that, and a lot of the programs and things we go with, you'll hear that echoed through there. Also, we pride ourselves on growing our kids, changing and improving them. Last year we had the 14th highest growth rating in the state. Out of 230 some schools. So we're very excited about that and always happy to see that we grow our kids. I'll talk to you a little bit about what we're doing this year and then what we did last year and what we're going to this year. You will see a very good flow of the things we're doing, because there's a lot of things we started last year that we're improving on, a lot of things that we're continuing to improve on. There's not a lot of new things, but a lot of altering, refining, improving what we have. We did make growth in our reading and math proficiency. Our math was the biggest improvement there. We've worked a lot on our math. That's been a lot of responsibility from our teachers and from the district consultants, and our past work that we've done with the Gates organization and our LDC work. That has been a tremendous help to us. We're continuing to work through reading. This is our second highest reading score in the last 4 or 5 years. Even though it's down a little bit, it's pretty high still, and we feel like we've got programs in place that's really going to help that. Overall, the things we feel that have helped our math, reading, and all of our scores is that change we made several years back, where we have students who are below benchmark in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade have an extra trimester. That's an extra 60 hours of instruction with one of those teachers. By the time you reach an ACT or a senior level, that means you've had a full year and a half extra of math and or English, depending on if you're at benchmark or not. That has made a tremendous impact on our students, and we feel that is been very, very good for them as well. We also feel like that's helped our graduation rate a lot, because if you can read and if your numeracy and literacy is better, you're going to do better across the board. We did increase in that area. I forgot to mention, that we did increase in 8 of our 15 goals, and also, met 8 of our 15 goals, increased in 4 of them. So there was only a decline of 3. No surprise, Mr. Crabtree, that the gap is one of the areas we're struggling in. That seems to be a common thread. Continuing on, we also have really pushed different opportunities for our kids, and trying to help through the leadership of Dr. Cox-Curry to allow for individualization with students. That's through the academies, through our SWS program, through our dual credit programs. You'll see lots of increase there. As more students become college or career ready, we get more opportunities for them, and they have more chances and more opportunities for themselves. As I talked about, our CCR rate has been very high, and we do feel like that those extra classes have added to that. Last year, we actually started piloting CERT at our school for juniors and seniors, and the board and central office, worked a way out that's actually replaced MAP now. To give you, you probably know some about CERT, but to give you just an overview of CERT, of how it goes, the students take an assessment that mirrors the ACT, and then immediately, within a day, sometimes less than that, our teachers and our students have access to see how they did on the assessment, what exact questions they missed, a instructional video linked to how you could get it right, and then even resources to that kind of problem and that kind of instruction. So that's the power of it. Like what used to take us weeks to get the data on and reply back now happens in sometimes less than a day. And that happens multiple times throughout the year. As I said, we piloted it last year with our juniors and seniors, mostly in English, and it had a big impact. And then we shared that with the other schools, and all 3 schools are moving that way now. We do expect that to continue to have a massive impact for our students. When we talk to our students, our parents about it, we tell them that this resource, if you were to go out and buy it on your own, would be hundreds of dollars. And yet, luckily for us in this county, we've bought it for all of our kids. And I know that's through a lot of support of the board. We're very appreciative of that. Looking ahead, we are going to continue working on the CERT. We've got the CERT 9 through 12 now, not just in math and English, but also our social studies teachers are concentrating on the reading portion, and our science teachers are also doing CERT currently, 9 through 12. It's going very well. We have, even though we piloted last year with a couple areas, it is going well school-wide. We do regular updates on that, and a large number of our students are regularly using those assessments, going back and reviewing their progress, and our teachers using that data also in the classroom. We also, you've heard a lot of talk about Read 180. One thing we started last year that we really feel this year is going very well is we noticed it was hard for a student to move from Read 180 back to regular English instruction. Because it's like there's a lot of support in that program, and it's a great program, but it's kind of like there's not a stepping stool to get back to normal. And we noticed a lot of those kids would not do well when they came out of that program, even though they were near grade level. They weren't successful after that. So last year we started a stair-step program to where it's a Read 180 combined with a regular classroom, and it's a nice stepping stone for those kids to transition them out to the regular classroom, so that it's not a cold water in your face scenario for them. Last year we did that, and we had a lot of success, monitored a lot of data there, but this year we really feel like we've honed that in and are going to see even more success. The trimester helps us a lot with that because it also allows kids to transition out at points during the year. So if a kid is doing really well and is ready to step out on their own in the end of the first 12 weeks, we're able to make that adjustment. Same thing if they fall back, we're able to slide them back into that support if they need to. So we do feel like that's going to be a huge asset for us. You might notice, even though all of our scores are going up, our math scores seem to be going up faster than any scores in the building. And we attribute a lot of things to that, but one thing we know that has happened is we've always allocated extra teachers in the area to help the class numbers go down. So we're looking at that as well as like, do we need to do that in English? With a lot of the opportunities we're providing our students, that is an option that site-based could possibly have in the future. You guys know we've worked many years on our culture and have seen some big improvements. We continue to do that, but one of the big things for us that we're very excited about is we're having to push less ourselves. Our kids are pushing a lot of that now. Our kids are doing a lot of the culture pieces, and the Scott Cares that you see in here that we talk about, the fly sessions that we do, those kids interact a lot with that. Also, our school within the school program continues to see a lot of success. We are also doing the mentor program that you've heard a lot of our schools do. One thing that's great about Kenton County is we share a lot between schools, and that's something we try to talk a lot about with each other. And we do have teachers also taking kids on. We want to do a better job of targeting which kids we find. I know you're going to ask me the gap question, so I'm going to talk about it. Looking forward, like what we've actually done with the help of consultants and central office through RBTL and some resources they've done, we actually pulled and had large groups of people spend a lot of time looking at our gap students who were not performing well. Because we really why are we not getting to these kids? We've got a lot of interventions in place, and why are we not getting to them? And what we found is that for a lot of those kids, it's not instructional supports that's really lacking. It's their outside of school, their mental health. And amazingly, and through smart moves by the board and the district, we've recently increased the amount of support in those areas. There's extra staff in those areas that the district is trying to help with and add in place, and even doing it from a standpoint of doing it down the feeder system, because as well we know if you've got a high school kid whose family home's in crisis, there may be an elementary kid right behind them with the same issues, and we're going to deal with them too. So we're excited about seeing where that goes. and the improvements we get from those. But we are trying to pay a lot of attention to those kids and get to them and help them in a way that's not, it does affect their academics, but it's not their academics. You know, that's hurting them so much. We continue to focus on career and college readiness. You'll notice one of the goals that we're planning on doing this coming year, we've always had, but we've never really put in our CSIP, is to increase our students' opportunities and options outside of Scott High School. We really pride ourselves on blurring that senior year. You know, we don't want seniors to live and stay at our school the whole time, because then they get dumped into the real world without experiencing it so much. We have a tremendous amount of students going to the academies, almost 200 this year. We're very excited about that, and we want to support them with that. This year we actually we have a CCR coordinator who works with those kids and with our dual credit kids to help teach them how to leave the building, come back to the building, what it means to be a more responsible student at the college level. And that's the first year we've done that. It has been going very, very well. It also has allowed us to make offerings to kids who're not used to having them. And what I mean by that is we really felt like, and you'll notice from our data, we had almost 400 dual credits retrieved last year at our school. What we really felt like is the kids whose parents would help them and who had a good feel for going to college, they were going. We wanted to then look at the kids who could go to college but really didn't know how, had never thought about it, and that's what this coordinator is doing this year. She's looking at the kids and saying, you know, you can go to college. You said, really? I mean, that's the kind of conversations we're having. So we're seeing even more kids do that. We're also getting more adjunct professors in our building. We've added 4 to 5 dual credit classes by our teachers in our building, and we're finding that those kids are very comfortable taking those classes with our teachers. And our hopes is, you know, if I can do it with them here, then I can do it at the next level. We kind of have taken on the approach that you can't really be more college ready than actually taking and passing a college class. You know, so we're very excited about that as well. We have had a lot of improvement at Scott. We're not done, not even close to done. I've got the best staff I've ever seen. And with your all support and the support of the board, I know we're going to continue to skyrocket. So, any questions?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your average math size and your average English class size?
Our average math class size is probably about 25 to 26. Now, English is a little deceiving because the Read 180 classes they're large, but they have a large number of teachers with them. And a Read 180 class at our place will have 35 kids in it, but it has 3 teachers with those. So it breaks into 3 teams. So once you throw out 3 180, they wind up about 28 to 29.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a tremendous difference. It's just, you know,
But
5 kids could make a big difference. It could, yeah. The other piece that with the math that helps us with is we usually have a spot or 2 open in the schedule where when kids don't do well in a class, we can put them right back in that class, and we don't have that luxury in English currently. We can use our SWS system, but you know, having an actual teacher with the kids is you know, much better, of course, especially with a kid that didn't do well. Yeah.
I agree.
You answered all my cat questions.
All right, good. That was my plan.
But looking at thank you for including kind of a school culture behavioral kind of
Absolutely.
goal in there. I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Can you tell me, I just slightly need some clarification
Sure.
on this difference. You see the increase in, you plan on having a decrease in defiance of authority. It looks
Yes.
like an increase by 97, which is more than double.
Right.
So did you change what that meant? Is that the definition, or is it just a different?
Well, we've talked about that actually, and actually I'm meeting with the central office team, and I are going to meet and try to parse some of that out this year, because we are seeing a little bit of that same trend this year so far. There's a couple things. First off, defiance it's a large range of things. I think, and with talking with my teachers, we think that defiance is defined different, because we think that, you know, now defiance means the kid is not doing what they want to in class. Now, I don't know that for sure. Overall, we had a massive drop in discipline. So, you know, it's and I'm talking about last year, not this year, but last year's number. Overall, we had a really big drop in discipline. So I don't know if those funneled in there or not. We're actually going to try to parse that out and look at the individual ones and see. and then make a decision from there. I do know that, our freshman class last year seemed to be a little bit more challenging, and we've put some things in place for that. Yeah, but
I mean, in the legal world, we experience the same thing. The most discrepancy that we see and the biggest change are for those that are much more subjective. We know what an assault is, but we don't know what a disorderly is. So
yeah, and our perception is that it is a different thing because overall they're down, but it's hard to. And every year actually the district meets and tries to make new definitions and parse those out, but it is hard to define. Like, what is defiance? Did you just say no, or did you yell and scream, or